Imagine this. You're walking into a semi-crowded coffee shop. You're holding your hot latte, minding your own business, when suddenly your foot catches on the rug. You stumble. You don't fall, but your arms flail, and a little coffee splashes onto the floor. In that split second, a cold shiver runs down your spine. Your face flushes red. You instantly feel as though the entire cafe has stopped what they were doing just to watch your clumsy moment. In your mind, you see dozens of eyes judging you, whispering about how awkward you are. You spend the next hour replaying that 1 second over and over, cringing at your own existence. But here is the absolute liberating truth that science has proven and that you need to hear today. Almost nobody noticed, and those who did, they forgot about it 3 seconds later. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving deep into one of the most common psychological traps that fuels social anxiety, lowers our confidence, and keeps us from being our true selves. It is a mental glitch known as the spotlight effect. We're going to explore the groundbreaking science behind why our brains lie to us, and more importantly, exactly how you can use this knowledge to stop worrying about what others think and finally start living freely. Let's begin. So, what exactly is the spotlight effect? The term was officially coined in 1999 by psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky. In simple terms, it is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to believe they are being noticed quite a bit more than they actually are. It's the tendency to overestimate the extent to which our actions and appearance are noted by others. Why does this happen? It's not because we are naturally narcissistic. It's actually a byproduct of how our brains work. You see, we are the center of our own universe. We spend 100% of our time experiencing life from our own perspective. We are hyper aware of our own thoughts, our own feelings, and yes, our own tiny flaws. When you notice that small pimple on your chin, or that slightly wrinkled collar on your shirt, that information is amplified in your mind. Because you are focusing on it, your brain makes the assumption that everyone else must be focusing on it too. In psychology, this is closely related to egocentric bias. We struggle to detach from our own internal experience to accurately perceive how others are experiencing us. We forget that everyone else is also the center of their own universe, far too busy worrying about their own spotlights to focus on yours. Your spotlight is glaring in your eyes, but to everyone else, it's just a dim background light. To prove just how powerful this effect is, Thomas Gilovich and his team conducted a famous and somewhat hilarious experiment at Cornell University. They told a group of students that they were going to participate in a discussion about the nature of the self. But before the discussion began, one student was randomly assigned to wear a specific t-shirt. This wasn't just any t-shirt, it was a shirt featuring a large face of the singer Barry Manilow. At the time of the study, wearing a Barry Manilow shirt was considered highly embarrassing for a young college student. The student wearing the shirt was led into a room where other participants were already seated filling out questionnaires. The researchers made sure the embarrassed student spent 5 minutes in that room before they came in and said the study was actually over. Afterward, they asked the student who wore the shirt a crucial question. Out of all the people in that room, what percentage do you think noticed the face on your t-shirt? The students in the shirt were convinced they were the laughing stock of the room. They estimated that at least 50% of the people in the room had noticed their embarrassing attire. They felt the bright, harsh spotlight of judgment the entire 5 minutes. Then, the researchers asked the other students in the room if they had actually noticed who was on the shirt. The real number? Only about 20%. This is a massive gap between perception and reality. These students felt 150% more judged than they actually were. This study provides concrete proof that our feeling of being observed is wildly exaggerated. The world is not looking at you with a microscope. It is glancing at you with a very blurry, indifferent lens. Now that we know the science, how do we fix it? Knowing about the spotlight effect is the first step, but how do we stop the cringe in the moment? Here are 3 practical, science-backed shifts you can use to dim the spotlight. First, apply the reality check, the nobody cares mantra. In the moment of panic, after a stumble or a bad joke, stop the internal spiral. Tell yourself, this is the spotlight effect. Remind yourself of the Manilow experiment. Force your brain to acknowledge the statistical probability that 80% of people didn't notice and the remaining 20% don't care. Second, practice externalizing. The spotlight effect happens because you are focused 100% inward on your shame. The fix is to shift your attention outward. Instead of asking, what do they think of me? Try asking, what can I learn about them? In a social setting, actively listen. Observe the room. The more you focus on others, the more your own internal spotlight dims, and the less anxious you will feel. Third, test the hypothesis. This is a daring one, but very effective. It's like exposure therapy. Try intentionally doing something very slightly unconventional and observe the lack of reaction. Wear mismatched socks. Talk a little louder than usual. You will quickly realize that the world does not end, and nobody actually cares. This builds a powerful kind of confidence that can only be earned through experience. The truth is, we all want to be seen. We want to matter. But the fear of being seen unfavorably can paralyze us. Understanding the spotlight effect is not just a neat psychology trick. It is a key to freedom. It allows you to realize that you are free to make mistakes, free to try new things, and free to be perfectly imperfect without the constant weight of imagined judgment. You are not the main character in everyone else's story, and in this case, that is the best news you could ever receive. Be free to be yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might be struggling with social anxiety. For more deep dives into psychology and human behavior to help you live a better life, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time.